if you want to talk about futures options, like all those, like anything built like on the derivatives, you would say that why they're not Sharia compliant? Because that's a big surprise for a lot of Muslims.
Yeah, so derivatives are a suite of asset classes which many times as a retail trader you'll have like access to perhaps options, right? But it's really the financial institutions will be using things like swaps. Forwards and futures you can also invest into and gain access to, but less so. I think options perhaps are one of the most favored types of like investments at a retail level. But the problem with derivatives is that the Sharia paradigm for investing is that you must be taking ownership, bearing the risk of the underlying. With derivatives, what it is, you are building a trade base which is on top of assets. So everybody's trading, but really the assets are not being traded. You're trading on top of that. So your commitments, your promises, your obligations are just word of mouth. You're just creating a web of claims. Now that's a problem from a Sharia perspective because the entire Sharia kind of philosophy is based on trade, real trade. It's not artificial, it's not financialization, it's not synthetic, it's none of that. It's real investments, real trade, real assets. And that's why this derivative market is just a reflection of the real world. It's not real. Like when you're trading options, you're not buying and selling stock. You're just selling the right, the choice, the right to buy, the right to sell, a call or put option. Or if you're trading futures, most of these futures and forwards are customized OTC over the counter type transactions. Futures are the more kind of standardized and what's like liquid in the markets and what's traded and exchanged and settled. So, but most of the futures contracts are really cash settled. Nobody or very few people really go into a futures market wanting delivery of oil or soya beans or whatever it may be after 3 months or 2 months. That never happens. It's more about just hedging, managing your risk, and you're more concerned with the your exposure perhaps somewhere else. So you're just netting it off and you're managing your own risk here. From a Sharia perspective, you're not really then trading in assets. There's millions. The derivatives market is huge. Millions, billions are traded. But what is that money doing? It's just a transaction of money for money claims and you're settling. There's no real, the money is not being diverted or directed to real assets. And therefore, it's more about betting. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
If you think about it at the bottom, it's just purely betting. I'm taking a view that this stock will go in this way. You're taking the opposite view as a broker, perhaps. And where we have just two opposite views, and the entire system works like that, where it's just about money management, hedging, risk management, perhaps exposure. That's for us. This is what's happening in this market. Whereas from a Sharia perspective, your money should be being channeled. Of course, you can mitigate risk from a Sharia perspective, and there are methods to mitigate risk from a Sharia perspective. But in this particular manner, that's the problem because these are not real assets. What's an option? What are you actually buying? You're paying a premium for what? The choice or the right to exercise something. That is not an asset which the Sharia recognizes. Likewise, the futures and forwards, it's the transaction is always contingent upon the future. It's forwarded to the future. Again, that's a problem because what if it doesn't take place, which typically is the case? That's a gharar, that's uncertainty from a Sharia perspective. So these are some of the reasons why these derivative agreements
Yes.
are problematic from a Sharia lens.